Hey, so yesterday we talked about setting some health standards instead of goals. And the first step to doing that is to create the vision, right, of that body that you would want to have if all of the things were perfect about your health, right? So what does that body look like that you'd want to create throughout that process, right? If we don't have a vision of what that is, it's going to be really hard for us to get to the goal. So, we talked about what would it taste like? What would it feel like? What would you experience in a different way? How would you think? Maybe you turn into that really happy person at work that is way too happy, way too early, and you just don't know where all that energy comes from. No, I've never been there before. But how would you move? Maybe you'd take more of a sightseeing vacation through Europe because now you could manage that physically. Maybe you would play with your grandkids. Maybe you'd be around to see your grandkids. Okay. So, whatever that looks like for you. So, today, now that we know what we're creating, hopefully you took some time to do that. Let's continue to add value to that. Let's build on that. So, part of the reason that we find ourselves struggling with health changes so much is that they don't have the value yet. Sure, we have the value that we know that they should have, but our body doesn't have that value yet. Okay. So, an example, we know that eating healthier is better. But as long as the chocolate cake or sleeping late or whatever it is that for you that you feel gets in the way is still sitting on that throne. Okay. It's still the king of the kingdom, the queen of the kingdom, that still holds the crown. So as long as that's the case, then eating healthy can only go so far in our life. So, how do we dethrone those things that we're holding on to and start building value in all of that would be better for your health? So, some people say to me, I just love food. I could never be healthier as I just love food. Well, I love food too. I don't eat what I eat because I think it's disgusting, but there was a process there that took place that changed, my taste buds. And so now I crave and I love and I enjoy healthier food, because of the journey that I took. So, there's a few different ways tools that I like to use, my toolbox, depending on the situation. Okay. And one of them are little reminders. So let's say that it's getting out of bed at a time so that you can fill your self-care bucket. Maybe that's, means that, hey, that gives me time for my spiritual time. It allows me to drink my water. It allows me to take my supplements. It allows me to pack my food for the day so that I'm not left, running through a drive-through if I don't have to. Maybe it means, a quick workout, something like that. So, these are, maybe this is a part of a struggle for you. So I know I've done this a million times. So you lie in bed. I choose to get up. My first alarm goes off at 4:30 in the morning, because that's what allows me to do the things that I want to do before walking out the door. I was not like that at all. I was a night person. I thought that having to be in work at 9 a.m. was cruel and must be a punishment of some sort. And so, don't think that this came from a person that just always got up early. I would stay up as late as I possibly could, and I would sleep as late as I possibly could during the day, and literally ran out the door, with as little pre-work to that as possible. So, but gradually over time, things have become more and more valuable to me. And as that's happened, I've decided to shift my wake up time, different times as the years have progressed. And now that's where we're at. So that this way it allows me to do the things I want to do before walking out the door. So, I just had to do this this morning, actually. We had our power was out. So There was extra stuff that we had to do, ended up staying up a little later than I normally do, which then impacts, feeling like, hey, let's get right out of bed in the morning when the alarm goes off. So, sit there and think about, well, oh my God, I have to get up now. This is so annoying. I'm tired. I could just stay in for another hour and then I can skip XYZ. I don't have to do all of that stuff, or what if we were to shift that to, it's not that I have to get up, because I don't have to get up. There's nobody making me get up. There's nobody holding a gun to my head. There isn't, hey, you're going to lose $1 million if you don't get out of bed. It's, I want to get up. Why do I want to get up? I want to get up because when I get up and I do A, B, C, D in the morning before I leave, I feel amazing. I feel really productive. A lot of times I find I can get more done in a day, in a morning, before a lot of people get done, in their entire day. So that's gratifying for me, being able to stay what I feel like is maybe one step ahead, right? My brain functions better throughout the day. So, instead of saying, oh, I have to get up, or I have to do this, I have to eat this, you don't have to. So we have to show up. Let's call it what it is. Okay. We don't have to. We don't have to do anything. We want to. Why do we want to do it? I want to do it because I feel amazing. I want to do it because I feel so productive. I want to do it because it fulfills my sense of purpose, being able to contribute to my family, being able to not just make my coffee, but make my husband's coffee in the morning too. My brain functions better. I think more clearly. I want to wake up. I want to wake up. So think about ways that you can just switch your verbiage, switch what you're saying. And let's be honest about what it is. Not that we have to. We want to. Why do we want to? And start building that value up. Same thing with dethroning whatever might be sitting on that throne. Well, why is that valuable to us anyway? What do we gain from that experience, from eating that food? What do we gain from that situation, or whatever it is, or maybe having that glass of wine? What is the gain there? Could we gain that in any other way? Could we enjoy that time with family and friends without those things? Would it still have the same quality? Would it still have the same value? Would it still be just as meaningful? So, don't be afraid to dig a little bit deeper into these things, because it's usually never about the chocolate cake, for example. It's not. It's really not. I like to think it is, but it's really not about the chocolate cake. So that's one way that I like to deal with certain situations. Certain times that can be helpful. Another one is always remember your return on investment. So I like to think about this one as, when you're looking at the value of what you're eating, a specific food, maybe something like that. So I got these two glasses here. Sorry, my nails aren't done. You gotta paint them. And I got these marbles. Okay. So we can put these marbles in the glasses, and this is gonna, when we think about a food. So let's see, what would the food be? Oatmeal. Everybody always gets triggered when I talk about oatmeal. All right, let's talk about oatmeal. So oatmeal is a good source of fiber, right? So we'll give it 2 for fiber. But for the amount of fiber that oatmeal has, it's got about 4 times the amount of carbohydrates. So far, what's the return on investment? Not that much, right? And most of us are dehydrated. So the fiber that's in it isn't always as helpful as it should be, because we're dehydrated and we're not drinking enough water. Okay. So let's say we add to that, what else? Oh, cereal. Oh, that's a good one. And let's say we're going to have a bowl of cereal. Okay. So the bowl of cereal has it's fortified. Oh, this bag's driving me crazy today. Fortified with nutrients, right? So what does that mean? That means they had to take chemical versions of those nutrients and put it in there, because the product itself didn't really have any nutritional value. So they had to give it some. So, okay, it's fortified. We'll get a little bit out of that. We're not going to get as much as we want to get out of that. So we'll get a little bit out of that. So we'll put 1 in there in the good bucket. But the downside is that now we got to process chemicals. Okay. It also has a lot of sugar in there. Stumped over the other one. So now it's got a lot of sugar in there. Okay. So we'll add that in there. Has a lot of carbohydrates. Has a lot of ingredients that we can't even pronounce. Okay. So we're going to put that in there. What else? It might have a little bit of protein. So we'll put that in the good bucket. Okay, so here's our good bucket. So it might have a little bit of protein in there. So put that in the good bucket. So now again, we had a bowl of cereal and some oatmeal. What was our return on investment? And, what did it cost our digestion to process all of that? What did it cost our liver to process all of that? And what nutrients did we actually gain from that? So when we look at our food, we want to look at the return on investment. What does it cost my body to do this? And what am I getting back out of it? Okay. So when you start thinking about our food from that perspective, we start to understand it in a different way. We start looking at our food as fuel. Okay. So this is another thing that I like to do all the time too, is what I'm about to put in my mouth fuel, or is it entertainment? And it's not to say that you can never have entertainment. And it's not to say that, you always have to be fueling, but the fuel should definitely outweigh the entertainment for sure. Right. So talk to your food. Is this fuel or is this entertainment? Okay. And sometimes we're not quite sure, the lines are a little blurred. It's okay. You can ask questions and learn more about that. But fuel versus entertainment. Fuel is something that your body can use. It's very nutrient dense. It doesn't cost very much. Maybe the cost is more. Let's equal these out. Maybe the cost is more of an equal balance, right? Or maybe it costs nothing at all or very little at all for your body to utilize it. And yet it's got a lot of nutrients in it, so maybe the return is that way. So that's fuel. Entertainment is entertainment. Entertainment is when I want a slice of my mom's apple pie at Thanksgiving. Entertainment is, some of those favorite go-to foods that you don't eat all the time, that you have once in a while for whatever the reason is for you. Maybe that's your entertainment. And then you have to decide, well, you don't have to, but then you want to decide, okay, how much entertainment is, when I set the standard for myself, how much entertainment versus how much fuel. And if I'm always entertaining, I'm going to run out of fuel very, very fast. Okay. So I want to make sure that I have the fuel that I need to sustain the entertainment when I choose to do that. So this is how we start to build a different mindset. And this is how we start to shift a little bit. Think about it like you just went to the car dealership and you bought that brand new Maserati and you're taking it off and they're like, all right, now you know the kind of gas that you have to put in this. You can't just put in the cheap stuff. You got to put in the premium fuel because otherwise this engine's going to get all gunked up. It's not going to function properly. It's not going to sound the same. Okay. You got to put in the premium fuel. So think about this body that you've been given to live in. This is your transportation. This is your vehicle for this life. It's priceless. You cannot replace it. Yes, I know we think we can replace a knee. We can replace a hip. I'm sorry. Your level of health and quality of life is still not the same. It's still not a perfect scenario. So you may be able to replace parts. Still doesn't end as perfectly as if you could have preserved the parts that you had. Okay, even though there are situations where that's necessary, I get that. But it's always better to preserve the parts that you have. But you can't get another one of these. This is all you've got. And this is what you are living in 24/7 for your time here on this earth. So it allows you to bring something to this world that no one else can. Okay. So what standards do you set for that? Is it the premium fuel? Are you getting the crappy stuff once in a while? How often are you entertaining? How often are you fueling? Do you even know the difference? Do you understand the difference? Is it, for some people, it's just educating, the difference there. So start setting standards for the Maserati. Start setting standards for the vision that you just created of the body that you want to have and the person that you want to be and what you want to be able to do and how you want to be able to function in that. Okay. Start setting standards for that. Okay.